So I really didn't think I was going to say yes to any more audio projects this year because there's only so much more tech you can get into audio devices. But Saramonic reached out, and the reason why I said yes, this connects directly into the multi-interface hot shoe. What? So the Saramonic Ultra is a wireless microphone system for cameras and mobile devices. It has 32-bit float internal recording with 8 GB of internal storage. It has built-in timecode. It comes with a 2900 mAh charging case, an external antenna for added line of sight range. It comes with a dead cat for each transmitter, and it comes with a 3.5mm audio jack to attach it to your camera. And in the charging case, you have a lightning port or a USB-C port to attach it to your smartphone. And it comes in 2 different kits. The extra kit comes with lav mics and comes at a total of $299 USD, or the standard kit is $269 USD, which makes this highly competitive. So let's go into some of the features. Right from the start, we're going to be talking about the multi-interface hot shoe connection. Now, this is sold separately, just like the DJI kit. You do actually have to buy the microphone kit, but then also this multi-interface hot shoe. But this is one thing you absolutely should invest in because you have 0 cords. This literally goes directly into that multi-interface hot shoe, connects through the camera. Then you've got that audio connection going directly in there without utilizing the 3.5 audio jack on the side. But you also have that 32-bit float internal recording on the actual transmitter itself. So with the connection, it's a very simple design. All you need to do is place it on, twist it, and then it locks directly in. And then you can just tilt it back down and click it back in. So you can actually adjust the angle of this viewing. So that's really handy to have. So if you're behind the camera, you don't actually have to go down to the level. You can actually just tilt it up and then look down at it. So that is very handy that you don't see with the DJI device. So when it comes to actual audio quality, I actually use this in a professional paid gig. Now this was a boxing gym that wanted to do a little bit of a pre-fight and a fight commercial. And you're going to be hearing exactly what this is going to be sounding like.
Hi, I'm Stasia Waimaria, pro boxer from Logan City. So far in my pro career, I'm 2-1 with 2 Queensland titles and fighting for the WBC title this weekend. Camp's been great, had some world-class rounds, sparred Shanika Johnson and Dee Dee Hobbs every week. I don't think we can get better rounds than that in Australia. Lucky enough to have some sponsors, so DF Construction, Extra Reach Services and Bosca. So with their help, I'm able to train full-time and do what I love. Yeah, I can't wait to get in there, let my hands go. It's been a great camp. Add some new adjustments and new trainers, new dietitians, so ready to go. Well, at least we don't got to warm up because I'm sweating.
Okay, so now this is the audio that's coming out of my standard audio device, but then this is the audio that's coming out of the Saramonic Ultra. Now this is a really rich microphone. I don't really have to do too many adjustments when it comes to my particular voice. Now when it comes to any kind of microphones, you should be making some sort of post-production, EQ adjustment, depending on the voice, because each microphone will sound different per person, but this one has a lot of fullness to it. It almost seems like you don't really need to make any adjustments whatsoever, because I actually did film the boxer. She's obviously got a different voice to my voice, and I didn't really have to adjust hers at all as well, which is really interesting. I don't really find many microphones where you don't have to do any kind of adjustments. So now one of the biggest benefits of this microphone, and pretty much most new microphones these days, 32-bit float internal. If you don't have a microphone that doesn't have 32-bit float internal, it's kind of one of those things where you shouldn't really invest in it, because 32-bit float is an actual game changer when you're actually doing a whole bunch of commercial shoots, run and gun stuff. There are so many different situations where 32-bit float is just so useful. Now, if you don't know what 32-bit float internal is, don't worry, I'll explain it quickly. And look, I don't mind explaining what 32-bit float audio is, because I literally did a workshop down in Sydney and 50% of the room didn't actually know what 32-bit float audio was, and I wasn't aware of that. But you know, as creators, we don't have to know absolutely every single spec out there when it comes to, you know, audio, video, photography, all those kind of things. But 32-bit float audio is a fantastic feature that allows you to capture as much of the high-end pitch and the low-end pitch as possible. It's sort of like camera dynamic range. It gives us so much more flexibility in post-production, where essentially if I just start yelling, I could actually bring this audio back down in post-production and it not fully clipping, which is pretty amazing, and it can go the opposite way. But this is really good for situations where people are, you know, essentially being interviewed and start laughing and, you know, the audio is clipped, because we can only set the audio once when we're sort of behind the camera. Sometimes we don't take notice of, you know, the adjustments in the person's level. But how are we supposed to know the person's going to laugh or change their, you know, audio frequency? It's just, these things are unpredictable, and 32-bit float audio just gives you so much more flexibility. Now, just one thing, when you do connect the receiver to that multi-interface hot shoe connection, it won't transmit the 32-bit float internal into the camera. No device actually will at the moment, unless you got the newer Panasonic cameras. I think the S1 II, S1R2, the GH7, you can go XLR directly into that XLR top handle, and it will put 32-bit float into the camera, which is pretty amazing. But with this, I'm pretty sure it only does 24-bit. But 24-bit is definitely a lot of flexibility anyway. You're still going to get a ton of dynamic range, really nice, high crisp audio. So don't worry about that, but definitely hit record on the actual transmitter itself, and that will record the 32-bit float internal into the transmitter. Then you can actually take this device and then obviously plug it into your PC, your Mac, and then take the audio directly off that, sync it in post-production. But this will just allow you to have the audio baked into the actual camera footage itself. So now we're going to be doing a noise reduction test, and I do like throwing it into this kind of situation because we're in the kitchen, there's a whole bunch of reverb, and we've got the, there's a fish tank over in the background, we've got the induction unit right here for the stove, so there's a whole bunch of noise. What is this sounding like? So this is noise reduction level 1. You can see here, I'm actually doing all the adjustments through the app, which gives you so much more control. Unfortunately, you can't control the noise reduction within this little device itself. You have to go into the app. Now I'll put it on noise reduction level 2. What does this sound like? So this is noise reduction level 2. Obviously, same location, same fan, same filter thing in the background for the fish tank. We'll put it on noise reduction level 3. Cool, so that's noise reduction level 3. You guys can see that. And the way that you know that you're in noise reduction is this little green sign here. So that will turn green, that's noise reduction. So the noise reduction button is on the side here, so you can turn that off and on like that, and it will go blue, so that has noise reduction turned off. What does this sound like in comparison to that noise reduction? Does it work? Does it not? Let me know in the comments below. Now, like I said, you can't adjust the level of noise reduction within this receiver. You can only turn it on and off, and when it's on, it selects level 3 of noise reduction. This is where you have to go directly into the app to make those micro adjustments, which we'll talk about the app. So with the Saramonic phone app, all you need to do is connect it directly to your smartphone, and then you can go into more settings. This will allow you to adjust all the micro adjustments. So auto recording, you can turn that on. 32-bit float recording, you can turn that on. You also have 3 different gain modes. You've got low gain, camera preset, and automatic gain, or you can just turn it off completely. And you have 3 different noise cancellation modes, which you can adjust through here. You also have 3 different sound modes: original, vocal boost, or low cut filter. Then in the main screen, this is where you can adjust your frame rates, your running modes, and your timecode modes, but also you can actually adjust your camera presets. And majority of these settings you can actually do through the device itself. So one interesting thing I wanted to hear is the difference between the actual lav mic that they actually gave you within the kit and the microphone itself. Generally, the microphone itself will have a little bit more fullness. It really depends on the quality of the lav mics that is provided, because some really cheap lav mics just have kind of like an emptier sound compared to the actual transmitter itself. So what does this one sound like compared to the transmitter? Now, I do have the 24-bit file that's going directly into my ZV-E1 right now, and you can hear the difference between that file and the 32-bit float file that's in in both of these recorders or transmitters. So it's just really good that they do actually include that within the kit as well. It does come with a little carrying sort of bag, very small drawstring bag, but you still do have, you know, this case, which is generally where you can charge it, and it's fantastic. It does actually come with the kit. So look, in conclusion, this microphone is an absolute steal. $269 US is absolutely fantastic value for a 32-bit flow internal microphone. $299 if you do want to get the lab mics as well. And then this is an optional $30 piece that goes directly into that multi-interface hot shoe. Fantastic for Sony shooters. This is just an absolute banger of a microphone. Love it. I'm gonna be using it on all my professional shoots. I do believe that this is my new microphone going forward for wireless microphones. Shotgun microphones, I'll still use the VM40. Fantastic microphone on its own. I do have a review of that. But if Saramonic have a shotgun microphone, absolutely send it through. I'll check that one out and see if that's going to be, you know, my new studio microphone. But, you know, I'll put a link in the description below if you do want to check this one out. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll obviously see you in the next one. All right, let's get it.